Imagine a young boy at school in the 1890s. He is allowed to attend class, but he has to sit outside on a gunny sack. When he's thirsty, he cannot touch the water pitcher. He has to wait for someone from a higher caste to pour the water from a distance directly into his cupped hands. If the school peon isn't there to pour it, the boy goes entirely without water. That boy, Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, grew up to be the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. He would go on to draft the civil liberties and legal destiny for what is now a nation of over 1 billion people. During the fight for Indian independence, most leaders focused entirely on evicting the British. Ambedkar saw a glaring flaw in that logic. Political sovereignty means very little to a marginalized class if the internal systemic oppression of their daily lives is left completely intact. To understand how to break that oppression, Ambedkar went abroad. He became the first Indian to pursue a doctorate in economics overseas, earning degrees from Columbia University and the London School of Economics. When he looked at the Hindu caste system, he didn't view it strictly as a moral failure. He diagnosed a catastrophic economic bottleneck. He saw a structure designed to intentionally paralyze a nation's market. Traditional caste rules dictate occupation by birth, freezing labor mobility. Society cannot optimize its workforce if millions are banned from jobs they're suited for. The same boundaries trap capital. If investors only fund their own caste, money cannot flow to the most efficient sectors. To dismantle the practice of untouchability, Ambedkar realized he couldn't rely on goodwill. He had to dismantle the underlying economic mechanics that kept marginalized communities trapped, dependent, and starved of resources. His solutions were highly technical and driven by data. On a national scale, he argued for a modified gold standard to permanently stabilize currency rates, openly rejecting the gold exchange standard favored by renowned economists like John Maynard Keynes. On a microeconomic level, he demanded the state take ownership of agricultural land to ensure it was distributed evenly, rather than hoarded by a few hereditary landlords. And while his contemporaries romanticized traditional village life, Ambedkar championed rapid industrialization. He recognized that factories and urban centers would pull surplus labor out of rural villages, the exact places where caste enforcement was the most intimate and brutal. Structural economics was his required first step. Reshaping the physical flow of money and human movement was the only way to break the gravitational pull of ancient hierarchies. But academic theories require political force. Ambedkar moved into direct activism, leading public marches for equal access to drinking water and ceremonially burning the Manusmriti, an ancient text used to justify caste discrimination. His strict pragmatism frequently collided with other independence leaders. He clashed intensely with Mahatma Gandhi over creating separate electorates for marginalized classes, a standoff that culminated in the tense political compromises of the 1932 Pune Pact. His calculated approach extended to the eventual partition of India. He argued that forcing Hindu and Muslim populations into a single state against the political will of a massive minority would inevitably lead to endless civil war and administrative chaos. In order to settle the border issue permanently, he proposed compulsory population exchanges. He was willing to accept drastic, painful political realities if they resulted in a stable state, one actually capable of focusing on deep internal reform rather than perpetual communal conflict. Upon independence, Ambedkar was appointed India's first law minister and chairman of the Constitution Drafting Committee. This was his opportunity to bake his lifelong advocacy directly into the nation's legal DNA. The Constitution he helped draft explicitly outlawed untouchability and secured a sweeping set of civil liberties for individual citizens. To enforce representation, he championed a system of reservations, an affirmative action framework guaranteeing jobs in the civil service and seats in education for historically marginalized groups. Yet he offered a chilling, prophetic warning to the Constituent Assembly. A constitution is merely a paper document, and its principles can easily be subverted by the people put in charge of it. He identified two massive threats to the new republic: the cultural habit of bhakti, or political hero worship, and the dangerous gap between the Constitution's promise of equality and the country's massive socio-economic reality. Laws, he argued, are fragile vessels. They can only protect a democracy if the society truly desires to be equal. That desire for equality hit a wall in the early 1950s. Ambedkar drafted the Hindu Code Bill, a progressive set of family law reforms designed to grant women equal rights to property and divorce. Parliament defeated it. In protest against the establishment's refusal to enact deeper social change, he resigned from the cabinet. It was a stark realization. Legislation alone cannot overwrite thousands of years of entrenched cultural and religious conditioning. To truly free his people, he decided they needed to physically and spiritually exit the religious system that had categorized them as untouchable in the first place. He spent years searching for a new religious framework. It had to pass his strict pragmatic tests. The new faith had to be inherently egalitarian, rooted in rationality, and compatible with democracy. He chose Buddhism. In 1956, in the city of Nagpur, Ambedkar formally converted, leading an estimated $500,000 to change their faith alongside him. This mass conversion occurred just weeks before he died in his sleep. It was his parting gift to his followers. B.R. Ambedkar proved that dismantling a 2,000-year-old hierarchy requires an interconnected triad. You need a stable economy to provide mobility, an unbreakable legal framework to guarantee rights, and a society that actually believes in the spiritual equality of all its people.